Hello, and welcome back to Europa Universalis and to another EU4 hide-and-seek reveal. And a quick shout out to Furious Fox 77 and a bloke who goes by the name YouTube Gaming, who both guessed the correct nation, Naples! Yes, we played as Naples. Naples starts under Aragon in a personal union, but that can be quickly overcome. This time, I wasn't as foolish as last time. I did remember not to delete my save, so I've actually got the timeline up this time, and I can kind of walk you through what happened. To get down to the basics of it, unfortunately, I can't bring up some of the menus since I'm pretty much stuck on the 3rd of January at this point. Naples, it has a very good starting position in my opinion. It's got a good bit of development. Breaking the personal union with Aragon here isn't actually that difficult, mainly because Castile usually and Austria are both somewhat likely to help you out. You might be able to get Hungary on your side. It kinda depends. But you usually break the personal union within a few years, and from there, you know, you've got Italy to look after. I formed Italy in this game, which was it took a lot of doing. Most of that time was spent balancing coalitions. So yeah, that was fun. But really, the only setback that people usually have with Naples, because I think it does have a good starting position, especially if you want to control the Genoese trade node here, very good. I made a lot of money with Naples. But people are not a fan of their ideas. And basically they're pretty terrible ideas, but because you're playing as Naples, it's not that big a trouble. You can see I took Sicily down here when I gained independence from Aragon. And this is what people called me out on. They noticed this. I took Rome really early. and everyone was like, oh no, you'd never take that. Oh god, it was like a -1 for diplomatic reputation. And it really was a pain in the arse, but the way I saw it, Rome had to be mine. And I can actually show you, while we're on here, a few extra little tags, because we do have culture, and especially development. Oh no, oh, it's taking me out. It doesn't like me going on to development. Nah, seems a bit glitchy. Ah well, we'll start from the beginning. We're going +2. It's all a failure. This is very off the fly, unlike my other ones. They were perfectly edited, scripted. Oh, of course they were. This one, no, this is horrible. But yeah, that was pretty much the giveaway. People noticed I took Rome, and that's what both the comments were kinda hinting towards. I mean, there obviously were other hints. I was definitely waiting until the 1500s. That's usually when the northern Italian states, they sort of give up on being the HRE, and well, they're up for grabs. And because at this point I still believe I was allied with Castile and Austria, I believe. I think I was originally allied with Hungary, but then I switched over to Austria, obviously because they became under a personal union. And you can see I was slowly making my way up here. They'd left a bit early, but it got to a point where I was finding it really difficult to take certain provinces, especially from Florence and Lucca, simply because they were in coalitions against me. So I ended up going up to Verona from Venice, taking that off them, and then looking a bit blotchy, even went over into Northern Africa here. A lot of people were also, well, the two people who commented also kind of mentioned that Northern Africa was a bit of an odd step for a European Naples here. And granted, I like expansion, what can I do? If it wasn't taking Rome that sort of catched me off, I probably would have taken something like exploration ideas. You'd seen Naples overseas. And as you can see, I'm slowly sort of moving up, taking more in this, what would you say, northern Italy. It did take me quite a while to form Italy, simply because of these coalitions I was having to balance. This entire game was pretty much spent improving relations with random people. But as you can see, I did actually ally Savoy, and it got a point where Spain, once Castile became Spain, they started to hate me. So I had to switch, and I actually managed to get France on my side. So it got to a point where I had France, Savoy, and Austria as allies. So that wasn't bad. I've actually connected most of my provinces here. Nice Naples across the seas. I liked it. To be honest, if it wasn't for the ideas, I probably would have stuck with Naples. Because I love the purple colour. The flag, if we're going to do flag ratings again, Naples has a very nice flag in my opinion. However, switching to Italy gives you a somewhat flag. That's the best rating score I can give it, just a Also, I had a bit of an annoyance with Austria as well though. I think at some point they actually became under personal union of France. Yeah, there you can see I've switched over to Italy. So I lost Austria and I started picking up Poland as an ally. Poland was sort of on and off because for some reason Lithuania decided it wanted to rival me. So that was interesting. So I ended up with France and Poland on my side, and I sort of used Poland as a counter so I could dig into these extra little provinces up here in northeast Italy. So I get them so I could get some of my like the missions in the timeline. But the two main trade nodes for me, I got Genoa and Venice. Those gave me an absolute ton of money. So I was in no shortage. I would show you the development, but for some reason it really doesn't like it when I go to development. If we're at 1680, if I go over here again, come on. I'll just have to talk you through it then, I suppose. But in this playthrough, I kind of had 3 Romes, none of which were actually Rome. I had a very highly developed Napoli. I think I actually got the achievement for, is it 60 development? Yeah, I was going ham on development. I had Palermo and Cagliari. Those were my 3 provinces of favour. Cagliari is a bit of a silly one because it's I think it's got Highland. Yeah, it has Highlands as its terrain, so you get a bit of a penalty for trying to develop it. But I just thought it was nice to have these 3 sort of big cities over here. I would have developed Tunis a bit more, but the trade node over here, Tunis trade node, is absolutely useless. I hate it. Should have never bothered with it. But yeah, what was I saying? Allied Poland, who were kind of on and off. Towards the later game, they just sort of, well, they couldn't be bothered allying me. It wasn't as if they didn't like me, they just couldn't be bothered with me, apparently. I didn't have much trouble with the Ottomans. The only trouble I really had with them was when the Ottomans were sort of attacking Austria. I basically just sat back. That's what I do in a lot of wars. When allies call me into it and it's against something like the Ottomans, I just sit in my own provinces, make sure I don't get sieged down, and I let my allies get completely ran over. But I think towards the later game, Savoy as well, I was getting to a point where I was like, I kinda want these areas. I want Nice, you know, Montferrat. And I think France, because I eventually got them on my side, they were like, oh, we kinda want Savoy. And it just sort of made sense. But other than that, I was literally just picking off these wee odd bits and bobs. Very little to do, really. This is kind of what my late game is usually like, just sitting about and making sure that I don't lose any provinces, only gain. Of course, I spent a lot of time building up trade fleets so I could make the absolute most out of these 2 nodes here. Like I said, I think I was making something like 100 ducats a month. And about nearly just under 50 ducats a month in Venice as well. I was doing a lot of trade steering from Alexandria. That brought over quite a lot of trade, as well as from Ragusa. I didn't really bother too much with more of the European nodes. And I got Urbino there somehow, because the Ottomans did take Urbino, but for some reason I think they released it, and I sort of jumped on that chance. Yeah, you can see there the first war against Savoy after I've given up on them, and the second one. But honestly, I don't think there's much else to go over. We're nearly at the end here. I just felt it was kind of interesting, just making sure Spain didn't attack me, and keeping close to France was the main goal at the end, because they also had Trier on their side, who I think allied, and Trier is probably the biggest I've ever seen it in an EU4 game. Obviously Poland was going ham, but in Lithuania, they were two very strong allies, maybe not quite strong enough for the Ottomans, but yeah, that is it. So thank you very much for watching. If you have watched all the way to the end of this reveal, please give a like if you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time for the next EU4 reveal.